Morning, fellow eccentric, intuitive paradoxes. It's a paradox, it's an enigma. Yes, many ways to describe the INFJ, and most of us have been described like that, by someone in our lives. So, first I'm going to ask you to like, subscribe, comment on the video, but the topic I'm going to get into today is the INFJ paradox and why we are often described as enigmas or walking paradoxes. So, many of us in our lives have been referred as such, even in my case, before you even knew that you were in fact an INFJ or what an INFJ even was. So the INFJ paradox is often used to reference the many qualities of an INFJ that contradict themselves and things that contradict each other. INFJs, as you all know if you watch this, we are complex individuals with concrete values and a very deep understanding of others. That empathy where we can have burnout, like I talked about yesterday. We have many qualities that appear to contradict each other, but truly make sense when they are deconstructed. Like everything else with us, no surface level. It all makes sense if you take it apart and overanalyze the hell out of it. Not like we do that every day or anything. Okay, so being someone that is considered a paradox can be a serious struggle, especially for an INFJ that doesn't understand themselves sometimes. We've all been there, especially growing up, particularly if you're an INFJ male. You're probably the only INFJ male you knew, at least in your age range, and wondered why you were so much different than the other boys, and why you didn't fit in, and why you weren't interested in the same thing, and why you weren't just trying to, get girls to sleep with you. It's like all that, effeminate emotional connection crap and poetry. Who writes poetry? Go drink cheap beer and watch the sports ball game and be normal. Yeah. So, like I said, most of us, we've been there. Our complexities, though, as an INFJ, are what makes us so, unique. And I don't think it's that positive of a thing, but rare. Some people seem to like the fact that INFJs, particularly INFJ males, are so rare. Yeah, rare's good if you're sought after. If you're just labeled as some eccentric freak who must be, beaten into submission and change. Yeah, not so much then. So, this can all be a struggle for us sometimes. We are intensely caring individuals who value deep connections. Yeah, deep. Hate talking about superficial things like the weather or who won the sports ball game. Things like that. Or gossip, like who's sleeping with who. Unless it's somebody that we're trying to date, then we might care. But things like that, INFJs can be particularly upset in an instance where we feel we can open up to somebody. Like I'll give you an example from my youth. Like I would be going through something back when I was a teenager, and I would like open up to my mother about it, and after like 10 minutes of me like just pouring my soul out, her response would be nothing to whatever I was going through. It would be, what are you thinking for dinner tonight? It's like, so I'm going through all this extra existential crap, and what's going on in your mind is, what should I eat for dinner? It's like, I don't care. But, just an example that I think most like 12, 13-year-old INFJs go through at some point. As INFJs, we understand people are very easily and often feel emotions of others very strongly, so we can easily connect with others' emotions, empathize with them. I went through all that yesterday, and that's why people seek us out to open up to us, because of our ease of understanding what they're going through, ability to empathize, and also use our intuition to provide feedback that, actually might be helpful and not platitudes. Platitudes. Gross. Boomer. We're willing to reach out to others and help guide them through their struggles. Yeah, we like that. Helping other people get through their struggles gives us a sense of purpose. And it also distracts our mind from, what a mess is going on up in this labyrinth. And it just spins and spins and spins. We are a natural support system for people around us, often capable of making them feel understood and appreciated, while us, the INFJs, value sharing deep bonds with people. We often struggle with opening up ourselves because trust issues. Because growing up we're often misunderstood and our empathetic natures are often taken advantage of, we become very selective with who we open up to the older we get, because we don't want to repeat the same mistakes, and we see the patterns in our head thanks to our intuition. It's like, ooh, that one's just like that one. Like, back away, back away. Back away slowly. Put emotionalist look on face. Look unapproachable. That kind of thing. Natural self-defense mechanisms that are very, very healthy. We want to bond with others, like I said, but because of our trust issues, we might struggle to do so. We hide parts of ourselves out of fear for being judged or misunderstood, and we understand others very easily, but struggle with expressing ourselves. Yeah, this is because we're quite different and eccentric and authentic and don't know how to fake it. INFJs are, we're not natural actors and we're terrible liars. So we don't know how to play a role, so to say. Unlike ENFJs, who are almost as weird as us in an awesome, adorable, cute way, but they also have the ability to fake being normal, at least for a time. Us, not so much. So we're very selective of who we open up to, because we have really no choice other than to be authentic. And because we're different from the majority of people, we fear being judged. And also because most of us are often targets for narcissists, we have been judged just for being us. And, we're told to change and fit in and get with the program and, boomer knows best. All that crap. Childhood memories coming back. Alright. So this is often a confusing thing for us, since we value having true and meaningful connections, but at the same time we're selective as hell, and we're cautious with who we open up to. These connections are hard to acquire, honestly, since we fear being hurt so deeply. Yeah, because we've been hurt deeply and don't want to experience that pain again. We don't usually look back on things like past relationships and go like, well, she treated me like crap, but there were some fun times. It's like, what the fuck was I thinking getting involved with her? Why didn't I see this coming? Maybe I need to sleep more than 3 hours a night. Stupid 70-hour-a-week job to pay anything. Hate this town. Get out of here. Anyway, but enough about 2012-13. So, as INFJs, given our paradoxical nature, while we do seek deep connections with people, we also crave solitude. But we also sometimes simultaneously crave being around people. It's very confusing and paradoxical. We need alone time to recharge, and often need large quantities of alone time to fully feel like ourselves. After like a social situation, like, say we go out and socialize with people we actually want to socialize, then we need alone time after that to recharge and also process that and overthink it to make sure, we didn't say anything stupid. We got to replay those conversations back, just 10 or 20 times. Nothing weird or anything. Alright, so when we're with somebody, that we actually want to be with, we may feel somewhat drained and desire alone time as well, but not nearly as much. All INFJs require some alone time, but if we're like deeply into somebody, we want to spend a lot of time with them. But there's a but. Like, say an INFJ is deeply in love with somebody. Being with that person, maybe they don't need, so much alone time. Maybe time with just the INFJ and that person they're in love with would qualify as alone time. But an INFJ does have like limits with, okay, even if you're, madly in love with somebody, you still need time where you're not in large groups of people. That, no matter what, it's like a battery and it drains down and we gotta recharge. That's how it is. I don't make the rules. Alright. We are very good listeners and listen very intensely and actually hear what people have to say, and we usually have good memories too. But at the same time, another paradoxical nature is that we're very selective and very shy to open up about ourselves and confide in others. Again, back to the trust issues. So we pride ourselves on being very honest, and which is good because we're terrible liars. We often seek the truth out in the world around us and often want to be honest with others and expect it back, and we rarely ever get it. At the same time, we're very guarded, hiding parts of ourselves from certain people that we must interact with, like people you work with, for example, that you really don't have a choice to be around. You be very selective of what parts of your personality you let them see. Though we are big in integrity and telling the truth, we are known to use white lies from time to time in order to avoid awkward situations. We don't consider things like this true lies since they're not harming anyone or diverting from the truth that matters. Yeah, because, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like telling somebody that their ugly dress isn't ugly, what's the harm in that? Just because I don't like it doesn't mean other people won't. Why does my opinion matter? Yeah, things like, maybe a little embellishment we'll overlook and not call people out. So, another big thing is when we cut somebody out from our lives that we love deeply. This is referred to as, can be, given the situation, as an INFJ door slam. This appears to be a contradiction at times because sometimes we'll door slam. This isn't a regular door slam, by the way. Sometimes we'll door slam somebody we care too deeply about that we probably shouldn't. Like if you're building that deep emotional connection with like someone who's married, yeah, and maybe while you're building that connection, you didn't know they were married, and best avoid the inevitable. Well, not necessarily inevitable, but no good can come from that. Yeah. So there would be, a paradox of using a door slam against somebody that you care about and want in your life, but for circumstances they can't be in your life. I did it once 5 years ago. It's a thing. We feel emotions very intensely. Sometimes this can be hard. We both love and hate things about ourselves. We INFJs have a love-hate relationship with being an INFJ. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it sucks. It all depends on the situation. But it's either all or nothing. We're never just okay with it. It's either being an INFJ right now is great, or I wish I was normal. There's no like middle ground. There very rarely is middle ground with us in anything. So just wanted to do a video on some of the paradoxes that an INFJ lives with, how we can often contradict ourselves. One more, I'll get into a dark one now. While INFJs do not enjoy hurting people, looking at my notes, I forgot one. Right. But in certain cases, an INFJ is very good at striking at others, though this is a rare occurrence. But it does happen when an INFJ is pushed too far. So someone who's abusive towards people we care about, we don't have a problem being the ones stepping up, calling that person out, exposing them, or if perhaps the situation calls for it, physical violence. But all in all, being an INFJ, you're going to deal with a lot of contradictions in your life and how your mind works. It all depends on the situation. And if you think about it long enough, think about each situation, usually the contradictions do make sense. Context is everything. Just remember as you're analyzing those contradictions and paradoxes to trust your intuition about it. And don't sell out your integrity just to not be a paradox.